Hey guys, Desolate Magic here, and let's talk about the Brawl format, the new format that I guess Wizards thinks they invented. I was going to cover it yesterday, but I knew from experience that everything they said about it was either dead wrong or extremely misleading. As it turns out, everything they said about it was dead wrong and misleading. So my video would have been dead wrong and misleading. So anyway, Gavin Verhey, I guess the creator of this format, I don't know. I honestly don't know who he is. I just know he writes really bad articles. He wrote this article that almost talks about Brawl in the first 3 pages. For that reason, I'm not going to read it, except for a couple gems here. Let's see. With Dominaria, we're rolling out a brand new casual format. Keep in mind that he called it a casual format. That's going to come up. Where you can use this legendary theme to great effect. I would say greater, but anyway. Let me tell you about it! Exclamation mark for no reason. We are not as excited as you are, everybody from Wizards, okay? Cut it out with the damn exclamation. I'm so shook I can't even pronounce it! These exclamation marks get me shook! Alright, the very second paragraph in the next section, we offer many different formats to play competitive, constructed Magic. Well, now there's the word competitive. I thought he used the word casual before. Like I said, you're going to see a theme in this article. The theme is inconsistency. Oh, I'm just tone deaf, dead wrong, everything, basically. I mean, this is just nonsense. I don't even want to read this out to you guys because it's just so wrong. Oh, not to mention repetitive, redundant, and unnecessary, but, like, these formats all encompass different periods of time, so people with varying collections have a way to play using them. I mean, friendly multiplayer commander. People are like, I like dinosaurs. I like merfolk. I mean, even I've done this. I'm just like, I like cards from this block. I'm going to do it. Devotion, whatever. Even allies, landfall. That's huge for commander. People are like, I'm going to take cards I have and mostly use those to build a commander deck. Other than that, even when I build a modern deck, it's not like I'm net decking it, but like look up Black Death. It's like the 7th most viewed video on this entire channel, which is like crazy. Oh, FYI, number 1 got deleted by YouTube. I uploaded it 9 years ago. It had almost 400,000 views and they deleted it and I'm pissed. That was a while ago, but I had a strike and already wore off. But yeah, 90 days I couldn't stream because of a video I uploaded 9 freaking years ago. And now Social Blade and my public view stats say it dropped by like almost 500,000. So thanks, YouTube. You ever heard of something called ex post facto and statute of limitations? Neither of which apply in this case, but come on, companies usually mimic the Constitution. This is ridiculous. Anyway, mini rant over. When I built that deck, I still went, 8th edition onward and said, what are the best, kill spells, what are the best creatures? By the way, look up that deck. With the reprint of Phyrexian Obliterator and the fact that Urborg is very optional in that deck, you can get that deck done for probably $50. I mean, I think Garrus Messenger is the most expensive, and even those are like $6 a piece. Like, they're pretty reasonable. I've won tournaments with that deck, so check it out, for real. Just type Black Death into my channel. I'm sure you'll find it. Anyway, when I built that deck, even if I had been playing since 8th edition, I guarantee I don't have those cards. I mean, people trade stuff, they sell stuff, and it's usually the bad cards they're stuck with, and the good cards they trade away or sell. So to say that the different formats are for people who have different types of collections, not really. I mean, I guess if you collect all dual lands, I would just call that a big pile of money or an investment. I mean, for somebody who works at Wizards to like be that out of touch with how people build decks and what collections mean, and how if it's really classified as a collection, it's either, like you want to keep them, you don't want to play with them, or it's, probably stuff that you sold out of at the end of standard anyway. I don't know. Maybe it was just an off-color comment. I don't know. Now, the funny thing he says, okay, people who join typically don't play Legacy. Probably because I don't consider Legacy to be Magic. I mean, it's basically a different game. It doesn't even resemble Magic. Neither does Vintage. It's just like win on turn 2 crap. I mean, not every deck wins on turn 2. Yeah, you're going to get all the whiny Legacy players in my comment section now. Feel free, I'll just ban all you guys. You are just the least friendly sub-community in Magic. But yeah, most people start with Standard because, duh, it's cheap, it's easy to get into, and you can win with a $20 or $30 deck. Can't say that about the other formats. Any of them. At all. Well, Pauper. Okay. I love how even Gavin admits this, by the way. I gotta go back to this because this is too funny. Legacy, for example, has all kinds of crazy mechanics and interactions. From aggressive decks with the best cheap creatures ever printed to combo decks, which is what the other 99% of people are playing. Okay, I had that. That can end the game on the first turn. Okay, is there really a turn 1 deck that's reasonable left in Legacy? I thought 2 was their limit for that format. Wow, your opponent has one thing on the field that costs 1 and they lose. Reshuffle your $10,000 deck. Wow, Legacy is so much fun, you guys. Anyway, he says, people who are new to the game or people who've been playing forever play Standard because it has a small card pool. Hallelujah, somebody finally said it. Yes, I like lower powered Magic. Not everybody wants just hyper, turn 3, turn 4 modern, whoa, turn 2 infinite combo commander. Oh my gosh, that's not fun. It's stupid. You spend more time shuffling than you spend playing the damn game. That's why Standard is arguably the best format. It's at least the most popular. And the other thing is the cards were actually designed to go together, unlike Modern. Look at the Modern ban list. None of that crap was supposed to interact with stuff outside of, I'd say, its own block, but, plus or minus 1 block, basically outside of its own Standard cycle. Except Infect. I heard all the +4 cards and stuff were legal at the same time as Infect. That was a mistake. And honestly, I've heard of, Standard Commander, where most people say it had to have been legal in Standard at one time, but that's basically just an excuse to, have built a Standard Commander deck and then keep playing with it after it cycles. You just tell people, okay, this used to be legal. I mean, there's Standard Pauper, there's Standard Giant Leaders, which is the greatest format ever. I might be a little biased because I invented it. Look it up. It's literally the opposite of Tiny Leaders. Every spell has to cost 4 or more. It's a riot, and it's way, way, way less broken in just Standard. In fact, every format is less broken if you limit it to just Standard. That's why instead of the absolute BS that was Frontier, it should have been Extended. That's what it should have been. Frontier is another non-rotating format. What people actually wanted was rotation, but a bigger card pool. That's what people really deep down actually wanted. No matter what they thought, what they said, that's what they actually would have been the happiest with. So Frontier, another mistake. So they've invented this new thing called Brawl. And basically how it works is it's Standard only, and at a Standard event, if somebody pulls, some side shooting crap, basically, or even just, oh no, oops, I didn't let you cut. Oh, look, I top decked just the card I needed. What a coincidence. Oh, I accidentally held 8 cards in my hand. Oh, I didn't notice. Oh, what do you mean there's 6 Ensol artifacts in my deck? Oops, I must have made a sideboarding mistake. When somebody pulls some crap like that, you basically take off a glove, throw it down, and say, let's brawl. I challenge you to a duel. And then you go in the parking lot and you just fist fight it out. Oh, wait, no, they're talking about the other Brawl format. Boy, why would they give them both the same name? That's really stupid. So I'll just call this one Brawl 2, I guess. So Brawl 2 is another Standard limited format, which, I mean, the more the merrier. Now, they're acting like they invented something. That's kind of, I don't know, that's a little generous. There are some differences and stuff, but everybody's heard of Standard limited Commander, Standard limited, everything, Standard limited Pauper. I mean, there's even block limited Constructed, where all the cards have to be from one block. So artificially small and recent card pool limited formats have been around forever. So to say they invented something, I don't know about that. Now, they are banking on saying that Brawl format is casual, because they said if you look at casual Constructed, there really isn't the same type of variety as, Legacy and Modern and Commander and, all that. Yes, that's casual. People don't tend to care about the rules. I mean, some people put constraints on what you're building. Otherwise, casual, to me, means freeform, which means literally anything goes. Whatever you say the rules are, that's the rules. You want to limit it to 6 of a copy instead of 4 per deck? Go for it. I mean, casual is here's a deck I built. That's it. But some people do like more structured, constrained casual, so apparently they're inventing this as a casual format. So he goes on to say, the number 1 casual format is Commander, which is true, except for all the try-hard douchebags who went on turn 2 and ruined it for everybody and then get kicked out of the play group and then whine that they dropped $3,000 on their deck and they have nobody to play against. But those people brought it on themselves, so screw them. But also, building a Commander deck, I mean, you have to consider, 20,000, 15,000, 25,000 unique cards, depending upon how you measure it. Yeah, not so friendly and casual to new people. So that's the history of why they're saying that they brought this up. Also, Commander is broken as hell, and there's nothing formally stopping people from playing just outrageously broken combinations. And the ban list for Commander is a joke. They need to ban it to the point where there's basically just no card fetch, because 99 card singleton is supposed to be the deck plays differently every time, not the deck plays exactly the same every time. That's literally how they built it and why. When you've got 60 and you're limited to 4 of each, you can play about the same time with the same win condition over and over and over. So they said, you know what, screw that. 99 singleton plus a commander. And then people broke it, and then they didn't fix it, basically. So what do? You shrink the card pool. Simple, right? We're about 6 pages into this craptastic article, and we finally get into laying down the rules. And then the first line is, so, what is it? I'm 10 minutes into this video and I still don't know. Just kidding, I read ahead, I know. How many times can this Gavin person repeat himself? Literally the next line is, the idea here was to make a casual format that used a standard card pool. You had an entire paragraph saying that. You don't need to say it again. Did you even read this back? Thank God Gavin designs like play sets and like Commander and not like anything involving writing. I love how even he admits that they didn't really invent anything. The rules for Brawl are pretty straightforward. It has a lot of similarities to formats you already know and love, like Commander, and a few elements to make it its own format. Once again, supporting my theory that they didn't really invent anything. Now, this is actually kind of funny the way they did this. All right, here comes the boring details. I'm going to present it the way they did instead of my summary because I'm going to make it sound really boring. You build a 60-card standard legal deck around a legendary creature or planeswalker. You can only have 1 copy of any given card in your deck. Why can't they just call it singleton, for God's sake? It's their own damn term. Other than basic lands, your legendary creature planeswalker starts in the command zone, so it's basically commander, and works the same way that, well, I just said that. You can cast it for its mana cost and then again for an additional 2 mana each time, and you know, all those rules, and you can choose what zone he returns to and blah blah blah. So each player starts with 30 life, so they went from 40 to 30, they went from 100 card down to 60, or I assume 59, it could be 61, they haven't really said yet. I'm not sure they ever resolved that, actually. I mean, they made a statement saying each player's deck is exactly 60 cards. Well, I mean, do you mean the deck or do you mean the deck? You know? You know what I mean? So you ready for this? You ready for the rest of the details? And that's it. Simple, easy, and the kind of gameplay you might already be familiar with. See, this is why I wanted to read like their history about why they made it, why they think people would like it, what type of people will play it, because that's so much more important than just 5 seconds of the video. Oh, it's Brawl. It's 30 life, 60 card, standard legal, singleton commander. And then you'd be like, oh, okay, that's it. Well, yeah, I mean, it's just, should you play it? Would you want to play it? Is it fun? Whatever. Oh, they actually did resolve it. It is 59 plus 1. Cool. So you ready for this? You ready for this? I think it's a fantastic idea because, okay, here's what I'm going to say to the contrarians who are like, no, I hate this. This is a money grab. This is Wizards trying to force us to buy more stuff, blah, 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 blah. Okay, 1, casual format. 2, nobody is forcing you to play this in any way, shape, or form. And 3, you don't need 4 ofs anyway, so if a card costs $10, you don't have to drop 40 on it. You have to drop $10 on it. And 4, it's actually giving you more things to do with the cards you already opened out of the boosters that you got. So it's actually giving you more value to your standard cards. Also, because, you know, you gotta get to 60, but you can't have any duplicates, it lets you play with second-rate cards that you're like, oh, this is so powerful, it's just there's a better version of it, or oh, just too many people can stop this, or oh, this whole idea of, you know, Saprolings and Dominaria, it looks good, but it's not competitive enough. Oh, wait, in this format, it is, because this is lower power, because it's harder to make a good deck when you're limited to 1 each of every card. So I love this. I mean, this is literally the same reason that I made Giant Leaders. It's because you got, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7 cost spells that nobody can play unless they ramp into them. And while they're ramping, they have to defend against, you know, red rush, hyper aggressive creatures, no matter what color, you know, early game combos. You got to stop all that crap. So then you end up putting in a whole bunch of control and the deck gets gutted and only half the deck is the cards you actually wanted. Well, the Giant Leaders, like I said, every spell has to cost 4 or higher. So there you go. And then you start with, by the way, I'll just say you don't have to go watch the video, but you should. You start with 2 emblems, which are basically basic lands of your choice. So you choose which 2 basic lands you want. They cannot be destroyed, interacted with in any way. They are considered to be lands, but they're also emblems. So you basically start the game with, well, theoretically 3 mana available, because you would play land on turn 1, I would hope. And then every spell costs 4+. So you just go from there. It's hilarious, it's fun, it's a riot, all the cards cost nothing, it's basically Pauper. I actually compared it to like playstyle and like fun level and overall just feel of it to Dumbledore versus Voldemort, where it's just like if it was like an RPG, they're both like level 30 epic wizards and they're launching nothing but tier 9 spells at each other. That's Giant Leaders. So that's my format I invented. It's awesome. It's 49 plus 1 singleton commander. And it's really, really, really fun. It's just a bunch of overpriced cards that are, you know, powerful, but you'd never reasonably play them in a game. you know, like Insidious will, and it's like nothing but those. It is so fun. You guys should actually play that instead of Brawl. Little twist ending at the end of this video. For more extensive details and exacting rulings, just type Giant Leaders into my channel and look for the video with the hilarious thumbnail. If you're not even interested, just search for it and just look at the thumbnail. It might take you a second to get what's going on in the thumbnail, then you'll be like, oh, I get it. I see what the thumbnail means. Des, you're stupid. So to go over the exact rulings, because I don't want to leave anything out here, the full overview, courtesy of Rules Manager Eli Schifrin. Each player's deck is exactly 60 cards other than basic lands. No cards may appear in a deck more than once. Each card must be legal in the standard format. Cards banned in the standard format can't be played in Brawl. Now, see, that's interesting because I'd say if you want to play Smuggler's Copter, go for it because you don't have 4 of. I mean, Aetherworks Marvel, you really think you can count on that? There's never enough fetch to go get that, trust me. So that is actually really surprising that they would do that instead of just, oh, this card just got banned. Well, at least I could play a Tune with Aether in Brawl format. That's really weird, and I think they're going to change their mind on that. Anyway, before the game begins, you designate one legendary creature or planeswalker card in your deck as a commander. This card begins the game in the command zone, and the other 59 cards are shuffled up. The mana symbols that appear on the commander dictate what colors may be in your deck. I'm not going to read all that. You guys get it. Also, I don't completely understand the rules for that in Commander. Each player begins the game at 30 life rather than 20 if you're playing a multiplayer game, which we recommend for Brawl. Exclamation mark for literally no reason. Each player draws 7 cards again on their first mulligan. That's interesting. And the player who plays first draws a card on their first turn. So you can mull to 7 an unlimited number of times, or are they saying that because it's casual, there is officially a built-in first mulligan? Well, I guess they literally said first mulligan, so I guess, yes, everybody gets a free mulligan with this format, and then you go to 6 after that. Whether you scry or not, I don't know. They didn't say. I'll just say yes. Why not? Scry away. Who cares? It gets the Desolator seal of approval. If it comes up in your playgroup, just be like, no, Des told me we could. Oh, what's that, you ask? Why are there 2 people out fighting in the parking lot? Des told me about that too. So as long as your commander's in the command zone, you may cast it from there. Doing so costs additional 2 mana for each time that you have cast the card this way this game. If your commander is countered or leaves the battlefield, you may put it back into the command zone instead of putting it anywhere else it would go. They should have phrased that as, or you can let it go to whatever place it would go. Like, if you can bring it out of the graveyard for some reason, don't let it go back to the command zone. The Brawl variant has no other rules for playing, winning, or losing the game. Have fun! Exclamation mark. Okay, that one's semi-appropriate. That's like your mom waving to you as you leave for school out the window. Have fun, honey! But like even cringier and even geekier because it's Wizards instead of your mom. Oh, and since it's Wizards, it's actually your dad dressed as your mom. I apologize, not for the joke, but for the families of the people who just died laughing at that joke. I had to personally give that one a little bit after I said it before I could resume recording. So they go into, why they chose 60 cards, why it's 30 life. Probably because less cards available, lower power. There, I'm not even going to read it. That's got to be why. Then they go on about some other crap. I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? Go play Brawl, or if you want to play an even cooler format, play standard limited Giant Leaders. It's just better. Technically, you can play Giant Leaders Brawl. Just go 59-30 instead of 49-40, I believe is what I said. And honestly, does anybody else feel like instead of calling it Brawl, they should have called it Commander Junior? Because, they're a Hasbro company. There's, Monopoly Junior and stuff out there. It's like Intro to Commander. They could have called it Standard Commander, but that's, this is boring. Commander Junior just sounds cooler, and it's not, demeaning or has a bad connotation. I think it would have been a good name. So I propose that we all just unofficially call it Commander Junior because that'll be hilarious. Oh my god, or Junior Dragon Highlander. Yes, because Commander was originally called EDH, Elder Dragon Highlander. Get it? Anyway, what do you think of this format? A lot of people are going to say, oh, it's just, they want us to buy more standard. Or you could just take a second rate, whatever, and build it into a deck. Because you really can't translate the top tier net decks and standard into a Brawl deck. It cannot be done. Maybe like Tribal Dinosaurs, but see, it's so tight and so perfect, and there's exactly 2, 3, or 4 of every card for a very good reason, and you've got 4 of every, mana fixer. It really just won't work. So you could just take anything in standard, build it into a Brawl deck, and have a chance of winning, probably. I freaking love that. I love this format. I think it's great. I think 30 is appropriate. I think 59+1 is appropriate. And they just printed a boatload of legendary creatures. So the other thing is, if you hate it, don't play it. Nobody's forcing you to play it. Like I said, it's casual. It's optional. They're just like, here, do this if you want. That's it. It's not like they're forcing you to convert F&M to this new format. So if you're on the fence, I'd say give it a shot. Just build a deck, get your friends together, or at least one friend to be like, want to build something? All right. You both open 2 booster boxes or whatever, and you just, hey, you can even, rarity limit it. That's why Wizards didn't really invent anything. You could play Pauper Commander. That's a thing. You could play No Mythic Brawl. I mean, just do whatever you want. I mean, this is just like an outline of just, here, you want to play this? All right, cool. Like, that's it. Like, people are reading way too much into this. Like, Wizards is destroying everything. Yeah, usually, but not this time. So don't overreact to this, everybody. I'll see you next video.